Hello friends, welcome to helpingtesters.com. In this session, we'll be talking about a very important concept, that is running JMeter in non-GUI mode. Now, there are many automation tools by which you can run in GUI mode as well as in non-GUI mode. When we say non-GUI mode, it means that without opening this UI, will be running the scripts through command prompt. So why this is so important when we talk about JMeter? So what the best practice is, when you are developing your scripts, use the JMeter UI. But when you are running your scripts, please don't run by opening the GUI. The reason is that when you open your GUI, a lot of system memory is being used. Now, from this system, you are generating virtual users also. Okay, so it takes a lot of memory, hence the result which is received is not so accurate, because it has to be printed on view result tree or whatever listener you are using. So there is a time gap and many other factors on the number of virtual users would be less generated when the GUI is open and another features. So it is recommended not to use UI of the JMeter when you are actually doing the load testing. So let's prepare a script and we will be running that, studying how we run a JMeter through non-GUI mode. So I will add a thread group. Inside a thread group, I will add to request HTTP request 1 and HTTP request 2, or I will just say request 1 and request 2. On one, I will be hitting google.com, and another, let's say this my JMeter domain. Both are the GET request, right? And I will add a listener aggregate report. I will apply a load of 20 users, and let's say for 10 seconds. And I will save this script in JMeter videos. I will add a new folder, this new folder, and JMeter videos, and here I will add a new folder. I will name this as JMeter non-GUI mode. Under this, I will save this script. I will name this as simple script. Right, and I will execute this to see is everything running fine. So I have a total of 10 threads. So total of 40 requests executed, 2 requests. Okay, so I have received the data, so it is perfectly fine. Now I will close this GUI mode and we won't be using this GUI mode anymore. For running of the GUI mode, you need to first configure your JMeter. If you open your command prompt, and you type JMeter here and hit or enter, you will get an error that JMeter is not a recognized grammar. In my case, it is opening the JMeter, but in your case, it will throw an error. The reason is the JMeter is not configured. When we installed the JMeter, we just downloaded the zip file, extracted it, and we are opening the JMeter. We don't set any environmental variable for it. So just go to JMeter, bin path, and copy this path and open environmental variables and go to environmental variables, and under here you will find path. Under this you can click on new and enter this location of which we have copied it. Click on OK. If your command prompt is already open, just close it and open it again. Okay, so that the changes are reflected. Again open your command prompt and just type JMeter. So you will see that JMeter will be launched. Right, so this is the another way by which you can launch a JMeter. but we are not interested in running the JMeter GUI, so I will close this. So what I want is I want to run the script without opening my JMeter GUI. Where is this file located? This is located under JMeter videos, then GUI mode, and this. First thing, I want to make sure that whenever you are running a GUI mode, you have to make sure that the paths you are using does not have spaces in them. Okay, as I can see here, it is giving JMeter videos. So you have to make sure there is no spaces, else it will give an error. We are just remove the spaces, or the another thing you can use is you can use the underscore symbol. Underscore dash is also not recommended. Use underscore. Right? Now it is perfectly fine. Okay. So to run into GUI mode, we have to first write JMeter. Then we have to write -n. -n denotes that we want to run JMeter in non-GUI mode. Then -t. -t means that the next item we'll be specifying is the test script. So where is our test script? This here is our test script. I will copy paste it here. And what is the name of the test script? It is simple script.jmx. Okay. So let's run this script. Let me click on enter. So when I run this script, aggregate report won't be executed. It will it's the summary. You will see here the summary would be listing. Just wait. It is starting the port and will execute the script. Okay. So you can see it executed a different type of report here. It is showing a different type of report. Now where this format is given that you have to show in this format. If you go to your JMeter, under the bin and in the JMeter properties, if you search for summarizer, okay, see it is getting its value from this properties. You can find this here summary, right? That is coming from here. If I name this let's say JMeter test summary, let me save this and run this script again and see whether what is picking up. You see the name has changed. JMeter test summary, it is executing. So it is giving a report that 40 were executed in this seconds and a report is being shared. Okay, so this is how you can run your JMeter in GUI mode. Now the question which will come to your mind is that where are my reports? I have been using listeners, I have been using various type of listeners aggregate reports, I have been using graphs. So how I can get all those reports if I am not using a GUI mode? You can using the GUI mode, you can generate your listener, a generic listener. That is a JTL file which is used by JMeter for its reporting. So you can generate a JTL file by which you can open the reports. Let's see how I can. I will run, let's say JMeter. In non-GUI mode, path of the test script is this. My name of the file, simple script.jmx, simple script.jmx. Now I am asking the JMeter to generate a listener with the name of non-GUI report.jtl. So this is the file, but I want to save it some location. Let's say this location. So I need to specify the location as well. So or else it will be stored in a default location which we don't want. So I will mention this path and I will set non-GUI reports.jtl, and when I click on enter, let the test case to be completed. The execution is completed. Now when you go here, you will see this JTL file is created. Now what is this JTL file? This JTL file is a very important. It has all the reports in them. Let's see what I mean to say here is, let me open my bin file, that JMeter in GUI mode. Let me open it. Let me add a listener here. Let's aggregate report. Let me add a listener here, summary report. Let me add here view result tree. I'm adding some listeners here. And let me add graph result. Let me upload here the JTL file which was created in videos in non-GUI mode, and this was the JTL file which was created in non-GUI mode, and click on open. See, data is loaded. So JTL file has the generic data which can be loaded in any of the listeners, and corresponding report can be generated. View result tree, file name, load it. You will find the result here of 40 requests. Summary report, just load the JTL file and you will get the report. Graphs, just report the file. See, the graphs are here. So this JTL file is very important. You run your JMeter in non-GUI mode, generate the JTL file, and you can see the report in any of the listener you want to see. You just need to import the JTL file. So this is how you can run your JMeter in non-GUI mode. Also, let me copy these important commands and I will be sharing with you. So just summarize again, we don't need to use JMeter GUI mode because it consumes a lot of memory and the results are received are not accurate. Also, the amount of virtual users which are created becomes less by the system when we are using a non-GUI mode. So you need to first set the JMeter environmental variables. Then you can use the command .n denotes to start a JMeter in non-GUI mode. That T means that the path of a script, .l specifies the listener where you want to save. That is the generic listener that is saved in JTL file. Once the JTL file is prepared, you can load in any of the listener and you can see the reports. Okay. In this lecture, we will be sharing one method by which you can generate a very good enormous type of reports, which are a type of flashy reports which you can share with your client, with your managers, and they will be really impressed. These type of reports, much testers are not aware that how we can generate these type of reports. Mostly they use the listeners, but let us show. If you go to your command prompt and if you write JMeter and -l, so it will show many type of tags which we can use during your listeners. Okay, so let's start. Let's generate a flashy and a best report. First, let's go to our JMeter videos, and here let me create two folders. One is result, in which the result would be saved, and also if I want to generate a logs. Okay, so how I can generate my logs. Okay, so I have created two folders which be having this value. So I will write JMeter -n again to start the JMeter non-GUI mode. -t is for test script. So I will be using the same test script which we have used before, simple script, and it is simple script.jmx. Now I have to use -e, that is report end of load test, and -o, report output folder. Now what these two commands are doing, that whatever the data which is being generated by JMeter, we are saving at one centralized location and we will be generating our reports. Now we have to the path where the results would be saved. The result would be saved at this location. So let me give the path here. Okay. Then the listener, or I would say the logs, where would be generated. So the logs would be generated here, and my file under the logs I would be having logs. Okay, let me just run this now. You can see the test is executing, and you can see the logs I've started generating. So test case is being executed. So it is executed. Let's see what is generated in logs file. So it has generated all the threads logs. Okay, we are least interested in this. Let's see what we have in our reports. So in this report you have a lot of folders. We are not interested what these are. Our main point is that this index file, as you work with Selenium and another type of automation tools, you generally work with this index file. So this index HTML, it's an HTML file which contains the integrated report. Let's right click on this and open this with Chrome or any of the HTML browser. So you can see this type of report generated, a very freshy type of report. You can see the charts, overthrow time, okay, automatically generated, active threads. The reports are not so good. It's just showing a dash because we only executed a script for some seconds. So you can see the strip was start at this time and it was closed at this time. It was for only millisecond it was executed. You can see here all that there were 2 requests, total 40 samplers, and it has given all the details here, aggregate listener details. If there is errors, it will be shown here. The graphs would be shown here if there have been errors. So when you execute this for a longer duration of time, you see here it is giving test reports for request 1 and request 2. You can select them to show. So it gives a very good report. You can explore it, learn it, generate a lot amount of, execute your script for half an hour and see this result. You will be really impressed with the type of report it is being generated. You can just save this script in your JMeter or on your server and you can share it with your client, right? So it's a very type of flashy reports and it is recommended report when you are sharing your test execution results.